Hey humans, what's up? I'm Brianne Williamson. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I am so excited for this video today because it has been requested so much. There's children next door that love to scream and cry every time I'm about to film a video. It's fantastic. I am so excited about today's video because today we are talking about coming out, specifically your first time coming out. And this is going to be a new little mini series that we have within the I Heard She's a Lesbian series where I talk about first times when it comes to being queer. So for example, today we're talking about your first time coming out. Next week, it might be your first time going on a queer date. It may be your first time having a little queer smooch, sliding into DMs in a queer way. But today we're talking about coming out. So if you want 5 tips for coming out, stick around. But first, this video is sponsored. Thank you so much to Audible. Now, a lot of folks know Audible is a place that you can get amazing audiobooks, but they have so much more than that. They have podcasts, they have guided meditations, and they have tons of original and bingeable content with Audible originals. From comedy to true crime, all the way to guided workouts. They've got it all in one app. Personally, I love Audible for the audiobooks. I loved reading growing up, but in the past couple of years, I've just been a little too busy to actually take the time to pick up a book. So the ability to listen to audiobooks while I'm driving or while I'm working out or while I'm cleaning the house has been amazing. Recently, and I know I'm late to the game on this, I've started Handmaid's Tale. The Handmaid's Tale is a book that I have literally been wanting to read for years and years and years, and I've been avoiding watching the TV series because I really wanted to read the book first. We've all been there, right? But instead, I was just never finding the time, so I didn't get to enjoy it at all until now with Audible. The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood is just one of the amazing titles that you can get in the form of an audiobook on Audible for free when you sign up for a 30-day free trial. Audible members get 1 free audiobook every single month, plus unlimited access to the Plus catalog. And you can get your first month free with the 30-day free trial. All you have to do is go to audible.com/Brianne or text Brianne to 500-500. That's audible.com/Brianne or text Brianne to 500-500. That's all you have to do. You get a 30-day free trial. You get a free audiobook plus unlimited access to the Plus catalog. It's a no-brainer. Oh, and pro tip, I highly recommend their sleep tracks to help with sleep. It's a game changer. All the details about Audible will also be in the description down below, and a huge thank you to Audible for sponsoring today's video. Hey humans, it's Brie from the future. I just have one more quick note about Audible. They just let me know this really cool deal that's happening, so I wanted to fill you in. Right now, for a limited time, Amazon Prime members can save 53% for their first 4 months. That works out to only $6.95 a month. And that means that you have Audible for the whole summer season, perfect for by the pool or on road trips. So if you aren't a Prime member, what are you waiting for?
She's the one I'm thinking of. Hey, the only one I'm thinking of. Hey, she's everything I'm dreaming of. Hey, the one that I can live without.
All right, let's dive into it. Today we are talking about coming out. It is so shocking to me that I feel like I've made quite a few pieces of content that have to do with coming out, and still it's my most requested type of content. Specifically lately, I've been getting asked over on Instagram, what about your very first time coming out? And I think what people mean by this is not necessarily coming out to the world or your entire family, but the very first time you tell anybody. And that's what I'm gonna be giving tips on today. So here it is. How do you come out to the very first person? Tip number 1 is evaluating whether this person is the right person to tell. Do they have a good track record with being loyal? Do you feel genuinely in your gut that they are a safe space? And are you coming out to them just because you feel like they should be the first person you come out to, or because they're the first person you want to come out to? I think a lot of folks feel a lot of pressure, for example, to come out to the closest person to them or the biggest influence in their life, whether that be their parents or their best friend. But sometimes it's a lot easier to come out to someone who doesn't have as big of an influence on your day-to-day life. For example, one of the first people I came out to was on Tumblr, and that was because they lived far away. I knew they didn't know any of my friends that I knew in person, so I wasn't worried about them telling anybody. And at the end of the day, if they didn't agree with who I was, or if I didn't have a great reaction, it wouldn't have a devastating blow on my life. So it just felt safe, and it felt like a good trial run to being authentically out as me. Another note with that, when you do come out to people, don't ever let them make you feel bad that they were not the first person you told, or that they might even be the last person you told. Coming out is for you, and at the end of the day, you don't actually have to come out to anyone. So if you are giving someone the gift of a conversation about who you are, they have no right to pass judgment on how or when you did that, or in what order. Tip number 2. Establish confidentiality. I know we would love to assume that everyone is going to have the common sense not to just pass this information on that may be very sensitive information, but that is definitely not the case, and I say that from experience. So I would start by having a conversation, establishing that this is something private to you, and establishing that you are trusting them with this information. You might even want to say that, hey, you're the first person that I am telling about this, and it's really scary for me, so I'm really trusting you here. Let them know that you expect for this conversation to stay between the two of you, and that it would really hurt you if they were to pass it on to somebody else. At this point, I would hope that you can get a pretty good read in your gut if you still want to confide in this person. If you don't, have a backup plan. What do you want to tell them if you no longer want to tell them about your identity? If you do want to proceed, that brings us to tip number 3. Remember that coming out is for you, and you only need to tell them as much as you feel comfortable. Only tell them what you feel comfortable telling them. And remember that coming out is for you. This conversation is not about convincing them who you are or teaching them about LGBTQ plus folks. It is not for them. This conversation is about you feeling empowered to be open with who you are. That means that you do not have to teach them what your identity means or validate your identity in any way. And if they have follow-up questions, know that it is totally okay to say, I'm not comfortable answering that. Tip number 4, give this person some feedback. Thank them for being a fantastic friend. Let them know how you are comfortable moving on in terms of talking about your sexuality or gender. Let them know in what ways you are not comfortable talking about your sexuality or gender. And reestablish confidentiality. Tip number 5, celebrate. What you did was just huge. Seriously, no matter what age you are, whether you came out to your mom, your dad, your best friend, a teacher, a counselor, a stranger on Tumblr from across the country, in my case, you are so brave and you should be so proud of yourself. You did it in a way that felt comfortable for you, and that's amazing. And remember that regardless of that person's response, your identity is valid and you are perfect just as you are. If that response wasn't the one you were hoping for, I am hopeful that the next one will be, and just know you are loved and there are so many people out there who will accept you exactly as you are. All right, humans, I hope this was helpful. I love you all so much. Let me know in the comments down below what kind of queer experiences you would like me to give tips on first for, and I will be happy to chat about it on the next episode of I Heard She's a Lesbian. If you aren't already, make sure you are subscribed, give this video a big thumbs up, check out my TikTok, follow me on Instagram, and also check out my podcast at I Can Explain Podcast on Instagram. We have over 130 queer topics covered, and we'd love if you listen. All right, see you next time.